Welcome to Market Matters. I'm Nadia Hassan together with Sulhi Azman. Companies in the news. It came out this afternoon. MISC Bhd, or MISC Bhd if you want to be friendly with it, down 1 cent to 9 ringgit and 9 cent. It's rebounded a little bit, 20% since July. Of course, oil and gas exposure has hurt it like everybody else who's been in the sector. They're not any unique. But the reason why, of course, it's in the news because earnings came out. Top line increased 13.6% from 2.2 to 2.5 billion. And then, of course, net profit also increased from 470 to about 483, 2.7% up. They did say, they actually had better rates. That's what they were saying in their notes, improved freight rates. That's what actually helped with them. But I think people still need more before you follow whether they believe the MISC story.
I think, if you look at the Petronas, right, they have been actually managing the MISC quite well as a shareholder. And MISC itself, they have been disposing non-core business, for instance, 50.7% stake in NCB to MMC Corp Berhad. And they've also planning to dispose 50% stake in VTTI for some $830 million or maybe 3.5 billion ringgit, which will give them rise to cash balance.
So after all you've said that, do you think it's enough to convince somebody who wants to buy MISC, which is quite expensive at 9 ringgit 09? I mean, what for you takes away from this?
I mean, at the same time, you look at the dividend, for instance, they have a dividend policy of, let's say, 50%, and or maybe higher than. I think it's a good stock to buy. I mean, we would buy for capital gain. At the same time, you also buy.
Would you buy
dividends.
for capital gain though? I mean, capital gain means that you see a share price that jumps. I don't think so. I mean, so more dividend.
Yeah, it's more of a dividend stock, basically, dividend play. And if you look at the MISC, right, there's a concern though, the borrowings are actually quite hefty, quite high at 10 billion ringgit, while the cash balance is only 5 billion ringgit. But I think they are set to receive more cash from the asset disposal. But still, 90% are denominated in US dollars.
Yeah, and I think with how the ringgit's been, it's the biggest panic because you have so much loans, and of course now with the rate softening, it's going to actually jump. So the thing about MISC, and I think when Petronas tried to take it private ages and ages ago, I think it's one of those rare exceptions that bigger is not necessarily better because MISC is so big. That's why I think when they trimmed all of this, it makes people happier.
It also makes the cost more efficient as well.
Well, at least maybe they'll focus on what they're kind of good at. But actually, three reasons really why it kind of matters. Released 3 key results today. Net profit actually jumped by nearly about 3%, although top line actually grew a bit more. This, apparently, according to them, this was due to improved rates. And but however, MISC still has very, very high borrowing. I think that worries a lot of people. We'll see the analyst reports tomorrow and see what they actually kind of say. When it came to actually picking broker's call for today, which is our last segment of the day, it was a very, very easy choice. British American Tobacco stock actually slipped about 3% during intraday, ended 2.38% down at 60.82. If you're buying it for other reasons, it's not really much of a jump. But of course, this went around Facebook, it went around WhatsApp yesterday, how essentially the price of their most popular brand, Dunhill, has leapt from something like 15 ringgit to 17 ringgit. And it's an amazing jump, isn't it, Sulhi?
Yeah, it is actually. I mean, yesterday BAT announced the price increase of cigarettes by between 23% to 26%. Now, this was following the government's move to increase the excise duty by up to 40%. Now, previously, the stick, right, each cigarette stick used to cost 28 cents. Now, they have increased it by 12 cents to 40 cents per stick. Now, in terms of packet, now, each packet of the cigarettes consists of 20 packs, will actually cost 8 ringgit more.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a massive thing, bad thing if you're actually a smoker. And the fact is, they have to pay the duty every beginning of the month. So that's why this come out. And the funny thing is, BAT is the only listed tobacco player. JT International used to be, then the Japanese parent took it back. And Philip Morris is not listed, but they're the guys who make Marlboro. These guys have yet to actually change their prices, but it's actually very well known in that BAT tends to move first. And the other guys will actually move a couple of days later. It's a huge increase. And it makes me wonder, I mean, obviously the argument is now that oil revenues are dropped. Is the government running out of money?
Yeah, maybe perhaps they wanted to widen the revenue from from the oil price to GST and also now to excise duty, for instance.
Yeah, but the companies themselves are actually, well, they're hopping mad because they think that this will actually increase the illicit cigarettes, 32.8% of the market, which is absolutely huge. They think this sharp increase. I mean, they will always argue, look, sharp increase, it doesn't really work. But actually, for me, I think what's more interesting for them is now they have another competitor in the form of vaping.
Yeah, correct. Vaping seems to be taking. I mean, analysts, for instance, they are saying that in this highly competitive market, I mean, with the price of the cigarettes going up, consumers are actually moving on to try something different. Vaping, for instance, and other places as well.
Yeah. So vaping actually is sort of exploded over the past. Suddenly we see so many vape shops, and the government has said that maybe we will crack down on them, or we will look at it illegal. Of course, they say, oh, it's not good for you. But I will say this the same way I said when Singapore actually banned electronic cigarettes. I think sometimes beyond just the health concerns, you can't make money out of it. The minute they find the way to make money out of vaping, or at least tax on vaping, they will legalize it faster than you can say marijuana. Really. I really, really kind of believe that. But earnings, I think, will not hurt them. And what are the analyst house saying?
Well, I mean, Kenanga I think it's one of the most, most bearish one. For instance, they downgrade the stock from market perform to underperform, and the excise duty, and they said that they understand the excise duty has been raised, but the price increase is going to impact the industry negatively.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a big thing for them. You look at all of them, like you say, CIMB research target price 55.40. Kenanga, again, it's a big thing to kind of take up. But I don't know. I think it'll actually boost earnings, but.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at CME research, they said that the derating catalysts are worse than the expected declines in sales volume. Basically, analysts are saying that when you increase the price of cigarettes, right, the legal volume is going to get lower, and this is going to impact the earnings in the future. Yeah.
So of course we've rattled on a little too long about that, but actually, like we said, the government has increased the tax rate. People are calling foul, and now you're scared that maybe people will move on to other sources of that. Thanks a lot again for watching us. If you actually want more on the news, the Edge Markets is there for you, as well as the physical copies of the paper. Good night.